Walmart founded by Sam Walton in 1962 in Bentonville. In 1991, Walmart earned $43.9 billion as net sales and became the world's largest retailer. In 1997, Walmart entered the German retail market. Today, we will discuss why Walmart entered Germany and why it was unsuccessful compared to other ventures. Recommendations will be provided on how Walmart will be improved in the future.
How would you explain Walmart's competitive advantage within the US?
I believe Walmart establishes a competitive advantage through several factors. One of these factors can be attributed definitely to their distribution system, which allows them to maximize efficiency within transport and as well effectively adjust stock levels. This in turn allows them to reduce waste and other unnecessary costs. Second factor is definitely Walmart's market size and human capital factors, which puts them in a very powerful position, giving them powers in bargaining, wage bargainings and through trade unions, as well as bargaining power with supplier relationships to be able to charge low input prices for their goods.
Why did Walmart choose to engage in FDI in Europe?
Walmart engages in foreign direct investment because it is believed that rapid international expansion is crucial for the business. Europe generates an annual retail turnover of 2 trillion US dollars, which is obviously a very attractive market opportunity. Other than this, you could argue that international expansion will increase Walmart's brand awareness and international recognition.
Why particularly Germany?
I would say Walmart engages in foreign direct investment into Germany, especially because Germany is Europe's biggest market and one of the countries in the world with one of the highest income levels. It accounts for approximately 15% of Europe's 2 trillion annual retail turnover. As a growing economy and with household final consumption expenditures slowly rising to approximately 60% till 2001, we can expect annual retail sales to even further increase. Germany is one of the largest food importing industries, boosted by its high proportion of expatriates within the country. As well, Germany has a very well distribution system. If well adapted, this allows a company to dramatically reduce transportation costs.
Did they invest in any other comparable countries within Europe?
Yes, indeed. Different to its acquisition in Germany, the business Walmart acquired within the UK was already successful. Asda was by the time of acquisition the third largest retailer within the UK economy. What's more, Asda in many ways already incorporated the Walmart business model that was based on the same Bentonville practices. Other than this, the timing of Walmart's entry was perfectly fitting into the environment because the UK government was very much concerned about high costs of food prices. Pricing strategy therefore fitted perfectly into the environment. And finally, the UK does not engage in wage bargaining, allowing Walmart to flexibly set those wages and therefore reduce labor costs.
Is Walmart's competitive advantage in Germany the same as in the US? Would you also describe their market entry as a success?
I wouldn't even say that Walmart had any kind of competitive advantage within the German retail economy. Mostly because they tried to implement the same US business model into the German economy.
If we compare Exhibit 6 and Exhibit 7, we can see that Walmart's net profit margin in 2001 was 3%, shown in Exhibit 6, whilst that of Metro was 0.9%, shown in Exhibit 7. This shows that Walmart overall was more profitable and therefore it could be argued that it was more successful overall in comparison with Metro. However, these figures do not necessarily mean that Walmart would be more successful in Germany as compared to Metro.
In order to compete as a cost leader within the German market, they are required to produce on extremely low cost levels. because the German retail economy is very competitive, with Aldi so far as the cost leader and profits barely exceeding 1 to 2%. In order to attain the required level of low-cost production, Walmart has to be able to reduce material and processing costs. Walmart attempted this by implementing their globally standardized business model. However, instead of reducing their costs, which it failed to do so, it forced Walmart to charge relatively higher prices than their competitors. I believe the average price they charge for their goods is about 11 to even 25% higher than everybody else. While they failed to attain price leadership, they as well attempted to gain market share through differentiation strategies. These include, for example, better customer service, giving out free bags, credit card payments, creating a nice store atmosphere, as well as technological developments such as advanced scanning systems. However, their differentiation strategy didn't gain them any more market share and could be seen as a failure as well, because changes of the store outline and extra customer services were rejected by Germans who, due to their different consumer culture, did not appreciate these very much. Technological changes, on the other hand, were quickly adapted by the Germans and therefore didn't prove to be any competitive advantage. You could therefore see Walmart's attempt so far in Germany as a complete failure.
How did different kinds of innovation influence Walmart's performance among its competition?
Innovation took place in form of introducing a new advanced scanner system, which firsthand appeared to increase Walmart's competitive advantage. However, this strategy was quickly endorsed by the Germans because the technological innovation was rather tangible than intangible. It is relatively easier to imitate a new technology than to copy human capital factors.
What main factors would you attribute to Walmart's failure?
The main factors to Walmart's failure? Well, there are intangible aspects of competitors' resources and capabilities, which Walmart found difficult to imitate. Competitors had already established a social network with suppliers that enabled them to acquire cost benefits, which could be seen as a main contributing factor to the limiting success. Walmart therefore suffered a disadvantage entering a saturated market as a latecomer, because German retailers as first movers had already exploited the relationships with the cheap suppliers. Walmart, however, lacked the relevant industry expertise and capabilities in order to build ones which matched their competitors, which created a huge cost disadvantage. Their competitors also attained a reputation amongst consumers that built their brand loyalty. Walmart, as a non-durable consumer goods retailer, didn't offer anything new or innovative in terms of price, quality or variety to the consumer, so naturally found it challenging to acquire market share. Apart from what I've mentioned, strict regulations also prevented Walmart from horizontally expanding, influenced their labour relations, and also limited their price-setting ability.
What specific regulations have limited Walmart's commercial activity in the German market?
In terms of labour union regulations, Germany's service sector union, Verdi, is the largest union in the world. Verdi made juridical claims against Walmart for not publishing NDA results that could have been helpful when it came to negotiating their employee wages. So as a result, Walmart accepted a salary increase that was 0.5% over the negotiated retail sector rates. Wage bargaining in accordance with the trade unions was something new for Walmart, as they had never seen it before in the US and in any of their other operating countries. So this imposed a significant burden on their labour costs. In terms of store hours, following the law revisions in 2003, the store closing hours statute limits store hours to 6:30 p.m. on weeknights and 8 p.m. on Saturdays, with no opens on Sundays unless granted by the local authorities. This revision was enforced to protect domestic retailers from large retailers like Walmart. This revision was enforced to protect domestic retailers from larger entities who could provide for these longer hours and benefit from the lower costs. The cuts in working hours have resulted in higher wages per worker for retailers, imposing additional labour costs. For example, full-time sales staff working on the shop floor in Germany demanded 19% superior payment compared to UK workers. Several of Walmart's actions contributed to a negative brand perception. By introducing credit card payments, Walmart included a beneficial extra service. However, most German consumers were already used to paying cash payments, so this prevented Walmart from gaining any competitive advantage from it. Apart from this, Walmart improved their store interiors, offered an extended customer service, including, for example, complimentary bags and bagging services. But all these extra services made Germans associate the brand with higher prices, as opposed to good gestures, because it is believed that every extra has a cost. And since the consumers associated Walmart's business culture with hire and fire, their reputation was tarnished very quickly.
To summarize the above-mentioned points, we will look at a SWOT analysis of Walmart entering into Germany. Walmart as a business has certain strengths, which enable it to enter the market. First of all, they have high revenues, as well as economies of scale, which enable them to make large investment into foreign countries. Secondly, they have a huge internationally recognized brand image. Let's look at the weaknesses of Walmart. They used a standardized global strategy rather than focusing on local needs. They are quite inflexible to adapt to the German supply network, incurring then additional costs. And lastly, negative associations have been made with the brand image by Germans. Now let's look at the opportunities the German market offers. It produces 15% of Europe's $2 trillion annual retail sales. Entering the market will enhance Walmart's international recognition. And lastly, household expenditures have been continuously increasing over the years, opening more opportunities and increasing sales for the future. However, there are certain threats to recognize. While entering the German economy, Walmart faced high competition and low profit margins, rarely exceeding 1 to 2%. Regulatory frameworks and trade unions uneased and restricted the market entrance. As well, Walmart failed to overcome certain cultural differences that prevented them to build a strong brand image within the economy. By looking at the SWOT analysis and everything else discussed above, we can conclude that even though Walmart is a large company and certainly has the resources to enter any new market, institutional frameworks and lack of internal capabilities prevented the business from establishing a profitable brand within the German economy. Neither strategy created either competitive advantage or made them more profitable. However, several recommendations are made to improve Walmart's German market position. If Walmart intends to stay within the German retail market, it has to change its brand name and recreate its image, which is currently associated with negative values. Therefore, adapt the German brand culture. As well, it is recommended that Walmart adapts the German supply chain system and establishes contracts with cheap suppliers in order to be able to compete in terms of cost. It is recommended that Walmart focuses on the production and selling of cheap private label products to acquire higher profit margins, while differentiating themselves in terms of quality and product range from its main competitors, such as Aldi. And finally, unless Walmart engages in effective process innovation and creates a system that allows them to significantly reduce operation costs, or until they introduce new innovative products to the market, for example products of foreign countries they already operate in, Walmart won't be able to establish a long-term competitive advantage, and in this case is recommended to leave the market.
Looking at Walmart's progress throughout the following years, we would like to amend that the company continued to incur significant losses and was finally forced to leave the market in 2006.